in Essequibo here in Region 2. But this morning I'm on a different mission. This morning I'm here to listen to you mostly. Because you know, as we charter the course for the next 5 years, I want us to ensure that we implement a series of policies and measures that would make your life better. So I wanted to hear from you some of your suggestions as we move forward. Some of the things that you believe are critical for us to examine and plan for in the future. When I was here a few days ago, I met a number of the rice farmers, for example, and they had some good ideas. We arranged a meeting with the banking sector, and they said to me, many of the farmers may still have fertilizer. I've just given you an example of one of the good ideas. Why not give the farmers with 1 to 30 acres, give them the option to say whether they want the cash equivalent to the fertilizer. So if a bag of fertilizer is $7,000 and you have 30 acres, that is $210,000. And we took that idea, and in some other regions, some of the farmers wanted the same thing. So that is why I've told the Minister of Agriculture, let us give the farmers the option. Those who are planting 30 acres and below, give them the option to say whether they want the cash directly or they want the fertilizer. And we said to them, for our cash crop farmer, I see they were giving half bag, giving a half acre. I tell them we don't want this way in a fertilizer. Even if they have half acre in the cash crop, give them 1 bag of fertilizer to support the agriculture. So, as I said today, is a different mission. I want us to think ahead of us and to see how together for our fisher folk, our rice farmers, our cash crop farmers, how we're going to make agriculture and food production sustainable and profitable. And when I say profitable, I don't want your children to see agriculture as something to get out of. I want them to see opportunities in agriculture. And that is what I want to talk to you about. How do we create an environment, an ecosystem to tell the young people here in Essequibo that you have a government that you can trust to back you in your agricultural investment. And that is important. You know that you can trust this government when you're in good times or bad times when it comes to agriculture in this country. That is something that you all know. And if you are believing that you don't know this, then you're stifling your conscience. So today, there are a few things I want to address. First of all, in Essequibo, we have the issue of land ownership. A lot of persons who are planting 30 acres and less, 1,000 plus such farmers, they're renting land. Renting land from people overseas, renting land from the bigger farmers. Am I not right? Yes or no? Yes. So we have to fix that problem. So how do we fix this problem? We can't go and take away people's land. But we are going to invest in the coming months to open up at least 20,000 acres of land in 3 different clusters here in Essequibo. You have 3 clusters. And when I say open up the land, it's not only opening the land by creating the infrastructure. We want to identify these farmers between 1 to 30 acres. We're going to work with you by making the capital investment to empower those land, to give you the seed paddy, to create the drainage and irrigation, and to make it ready for you to go and farm. So that we remove that cost of rental, we give you land ownership, and we give you an opportunity now to own your own land. That's the first thing that we have to fix. And that is immediate. So you heard me say 3 clusters. Why did I say 3 clusters? I said 3 clusters because I want us to take ownership more among ourselves. So the farmers would tear me tail if drainage ain't working, if pumping working, if a culvert ain't working. Is that true? Here is what my plan is, and I want to raise with you. We're going to organize the coast, the region into 3 clusters. And for farmers, 30 acres and below, because the other farmers, they have their own combine and so on. In each cluster, we're going to put a set of equipment. So each cluster, you will have your own management among the farmers. You will take the own responsibility. We'll put, for example, a backhoe, maybe a tractor with a plow, and a combine in each cluster. And you manage those resources. You can charge each other among yourself so that you get to maintain the equipment. You get to upkeep the equipment with the fuel and everything. So in these 3 clusters, I don't want you to say, a miller got to come and deduct your money now, give you fertilizer, give you a combine, or plow your land, and then when you carry the paddy, he got to deduct his money for all of that. I want you to own each cluster, to own, so we'll have to organize ourselves. So each cluster would own these pieces of equipment. When I say cluster 2, I know our friends from Mainstay, I'm not only speaking about rice here, you know. I'm going to come specifically to cash crop and how we get back to those pineapple production and everything here. So that's the second initiative based on existing problems. Reducing that input cost, making you owners of your own equipment, and you got to take responsibility for it, because if you broke it up, you ain't gonna blame me. It is time for us to take our own management responsibility for these things. So you have the backhoe, you fix your drainage problem. We're going to continue to support the DNI on the main drainage and all of these things. But you have a quick culvert that needs to be fixed, so that you have assets at your disposal. I don't want to hear people saying, I wait on the region engineer, and if he in a bad, or he or she in a bad or good mood, then they decide what time they're sending out the machine. We're going to empower you, put that power in your own hands. Then the other issue is about storage. We can increase the capacity, giving you better variety, get better yield, and all of these things. But how do we address the issue of drying and storage? And you can't dry because we have unpredictable weather. So we go to invest in 2 modern drying and storage facilities here in the region. In 2 weeks' time, the engineers are supposed to complete the design of those facilities so that we can go out to tender. That's the 3rd issue. The 4th issue is extension services. How efficient and quick is the extension services? But we have technology today. Everybody got a phone in their hand. So we can make extension services available 24/7 on your phones. That is why we're investing now in a control center in Georgetown that will not only serve Guyana, but will serve all of the Caribbean. It will take data, it will take weather condition, it will take diseases and pests that we're guarding against, and it will predict in a predictable way, in a proactive way, send it out to farmers, tell you, educate you on what we should use, what are the things we should get. That's the 4th issue. So we want to deploy that to every single farmer. The fifth issue, and let me say, now we're building these containerized police outposts, if you go on the regions, and they're very effective. Similarly, we'll have containerized extension offices, not on the main road, in the back dam, in the fields, connected to the internet, so you can get real-time information. We can have training in the fields. We can have education programs in the fields. That is how we have to invest to make this modern infrastructure to support sustainable agriculture here. And then, for every 10 acres of land for the medium and large farmers, we have to find a high-value, high-yielding crop. 1 acre in every 10 acres that must be dedicated to that crop. That must be dedicated to that crop. I see in China, they do certain types of fish, crab, within the rice crop. All of that enhance income. So we want to help you. We will invest in the 1 acre, in the infrastructure in that 1 acre, to make it a high value addition to your rice. You're with me? The sixth thing that we have to solve is the cost of a fertilizer. And we are going to invest, the government is going to co-invest in a fertilizer plant here in Guyana to satisfy all our fertilizer needs within the country. So within 2 years, we'll own our own fertilizer plant. So we don't have the risk of global price and shortages and all of these things. And more importantly, we can blend fertilizer that is relevant to our needs. Different region, different soil type requires different type of fertilizer. We will have that our own capacity with that in country. So the cost of fertilizer will come down. The other issue is transportation and marketing. And with transportation and marketing comes what is important to you, a payment system. We can't continue having a payment system in which the farmers are halfway into the second crop and the millers are now paying for the first crop. We have to fix that. And the government, and you remember you guys raised that, we are going to sit down with the farmers in the coming months and the millers, and we're going to come up with a payment system in which the government must have and take some responsibility in a few things. The payment system must be there with a buffer. There must be a fund. And the millers have to be part of this. That caters for situation like when the market price fall and you want to, or overproduction. We already will have the storage. So we're going to look at a payment system that look at a few things. One, the payment system must have price stabilization. Just as we put the input now to stabilize the price at $4,000. Yesterday, the rice farmers in Region 5, they said to me, we will be viable and more confident if we know there is a system that guarantees us a minimum of $38,000 to $4,000 per bag. That is what they said to me. So we have to come up with a system that has price predictability. We working together here? Because these are your real issues. How we build a system that allows you, a payment system that allows you to have consistency in price, that allows you to have price stabilization, and also support in the reduction of transport costs. We are already doing that with the boat and removal of the charges there. So these are the things that we will be addressing. And unlike those that will come to you and promise you the sun, star, and moon, you know one thing. If we tell you we're going to do it for you, you can trust us to do it. Leading a country and managing a country is not distributing one or two or three things that you can afford because you evade tax. Leading a country is hard work every day to find policies, to negotiate, to work on strategies, to work on plan, to have a financial vision, to understand monetary policy, to understand fiscal policy, to understand how a system works. It comes with experience. It comes with hard work and experience in a system. The vice president did appear. Since in the late 80s, he's in the system. Since I'm 17 years old, I'm in the system. It is learning how the system works, understanding how the economy works. It's easy, you know, one day you can get up and look at our neighbors, flush with money, and then they all get up without employment today. Doctors in some countries train without job. In this country, we are begging persons to become nurses. We are paying you as you're being trained. We are short of 200,000 people. But you can make the same mistake and decide you wake up one morning and share out the whole treasury. And push the country in bankruptcy overnight. Push the country in bankruptcy. And you know this. We give, because we care, school grant, the children without oil and gas. They took it away without oil and gas. It tells you about a philosophy, a thinking. And we must also remember that your life is also heavily supported by the investment we are making in drainage, in irrigation, in education. When we give free the 8 subject CX, it's your children who benefit. The Because We Care grant is your children who benefit. The old age pension is your parents, grandparents who are benefited. And that will continue. All of these things will continue to increase exponentially, higher and higher every single year we're in government. And that you can be assured of. But I'm not here to talk to you about that. Those are things you can be assured of. This government will continue to give grant, financial support, support our children, elderly, education, health, D&I. That is the given. I'm talking to you today about the bigger picture. I'm talking to you about the empowerment, the economic empowerment. I'm talking to you about the economic transformation, the creation of wealth. How are we going to do it with you in this region? How are we going to make your acre of land put more money back in your pocket by reducing the input costs, supporting the agriculture, and helping even on the marketing end. And that is the biggest story. That is the harder job. The easiest job is to come and stand up here and say, all the fisher folks stand up. Go out there and collect something. A 3-wheel bike, a 5-wheel bike, or 10-wheel bike. But what I'm talking to you about is a clear strategy. And how you are going to help us craft this strategy, because I'm putting this before you. So the payment system, land access, land ownership, transportation. Important here also is the farm to market access road. You know, today we have more resources. And we're going to convert the grading and shaping of all of these earthen dams to run hard surface dams, all weather dams. So in the next 5 years, all the main dams going into the backlands, we must have all weather hard surface roads to support the farmers. These are the investments. Then how do we, and this is your idea again, over the last 5 years I've been listening. All of you said we must find a way that we can create a special fund to support agriculture. So here is what we're going to plan. We're going to work to create a co-investment fund to support farmers and agriculture. So the government can co-invest with you. The government can back your investment, which reduces the interest rate, reduces the risk of the bank, and give you a better opportunity to get a better loan. We're also going to work on special tax incentive, like we have for the housing sector, to support agriculture. Tax incentive that will see the interest rate reduced. It is this PPP civic government that reduced housing loan interest rate from as much as high 30%, 37, 38% to 3.5% today. And this is what we have to do for agriculture. This is the next wave of policy initiative that must give the incentive to the banking sector to bring down that interest rate, which is between what, 8 and 12% now for agriculture. We have to bring that down to between 3.5 and 5%. That is what we have to do. Bring down by reducing the risk, by adding the value in your land, by giving you land ownership, by investing in D&I. And I'm speaking here for every segment of the agriculture chain, food, cash crop, and all of this. So we address transportation. Then for our fisher folk, for example, we have about 114 plus, just thereabout, owners of fishing vessels in the region. And we have about 233 to 250 workers. Am I right? That is the numbers we have on the register. We have to work with you on a few things. We can't control the catch, but we can help you to reduce your operating costs. We can work with these 500 persons directly on initiative that would give them additional forms of income, more disposable income. So even when they're on the boat, their wife at home, their husband at home, or their children can work in that initiative to support the income. Direct cash injection and transfer, not in a one-off way, in a way that invests in wealth creation, invest in them, financial literacy, opening up opportunities, whether it's the cage fishing, creating the swamp shrimp industry, building out ponds for prawns production. Yesterday, if you follow my Facebook, you will see. I went to one such facility. The two shows from the communities that we have, the cages here will tell you about the income they're receiving. And we have to get the specific cage that will allow us to have consistency in supply of hassa, if you're doing hassa, swamp shrimp, prawns, and we have the diaspora market. But we can also create, with this 500 persons, an initiative that look at agritourism. Essequibo is going to be the basket not only of food, but a basket of tourism. The investment that we're going to push in here for tourism. But we have to get more and more activities. And one of it is agritourism. To support the cash crop farmers and where we want our fisher folk to be, we know we'll have to invest in cold storage. We have to invest in cold storage, and the government will put 3 cold storage facilities to support our cash crop farmers and to support our fisher folk here in the region. Working, let us say, let me give you a simple example. If we have 250, 365, with owners and workers, you have about 370 persons as in the fishing sector here. If we say to these 370 persons, the government is going to back you here. We want you to create all the table eggs and hatching eggs for the region. You're building a business there. A business that will turn over hundreds of millions of dollars annually. The 10 ponds that we did in Anvawa, as simple as it is. No man look at it, oh, digging 10 ponds. You know it will produce about 385 tons of prawns, I think, something like that. You know what will be annual turnover of those 10 ponds? $1.7 billion. $1.7 billion. And you have a government that is saying to you, we're going to match these development in agriculture areas. We're going to help with the capital costs. We're going to work with you. So those access to low-cost financing with government backing to reduce the interest rate with a grant element for our cash crop farmers, for our fisher folk, so that if you need $6 million, you can have $500,000 as a grant element, and give an example, or $1 million as a grant element, and because of that grant element, the agreement from the bank is to reduce the interest rate from 8% to 4.5 or 5%. That is the type of initiative we are talking. So you not only get a grant element, you also get the addition of a low interest rate. That is the initiatives that we are working on to mitigate the challenges that lies ahead. Climate smart agriculture. We have to be able to invest in climate smart agriculture. The hydroponic houses, the shade houses. You saw the big ones that we're building now for the young people. What one of those shade houses can give you in tomatoes, for example, it will take 3 or 4 acres of land with greater risk in the open field. We want to work with all of you on supporting these initiatives. Investing in the processing, expanding coconut production, coffee production. And the oranges that we have to put a processing facility that when we have overproduction, we are processing it right here and get the juice and put it in the school feeding program so the farmers benefit all the time. These are the initiatives that we want to pursue with all of you. So, I told you I would not be speaking for long, but already I'm going long, right? Today, I'm here to discuss these initiatives with you. We're going to come back to meet directly the 450 fisher folk, to speak to you specifically also on some initiatives. But these are the plans we have in the coming months and year ahead. Not years, the coming month and year ahead. You have to decide what matters to you. What matters to your children? What matters to your community? What matters to your region? And which government you can trust to do what matters for you. Who you can trust to do it. I guarantee you that history and facts will tell you that you can trust the People's Progressive Party Civic to do whatever we say we will do. We don't hide. One morning come to you and make everybody come out and say we are here in the name of charity and God. And the next day we are here in the same people, we are here in the name to become president. Out of nowhere. Be careful how you rock on the chair, you're going to fall along and break your foot. So my dear friends, we have a future in agriculture that is going to be unreal with the type of investment we're going to make. One that your children will be proud of and all of you will be proud of. Let us think always about the bigger picture. So today, this morning, I also want to hear from you. But I know too that people will still come with their personal issues. So I brought a full team that will take the personal issues and deal with the personal issues. They are here and under the tent out there. I want you to talk about the future. I want to give you the opportunity to use this forum today to tell me about some of your ideas. We'll start by taking the first 10 persons.